what history will never teach you. Do you know what the real objective in the feminist movement was? The deep, dark truth about how the feminist movement affected the black community is that what began as a legitimate fight for gender equality was weaponized intentionally as a tool of division, control, and erasure within the black struggle. The second feminist movement of the mid-20th century, during the 1960s to the 70s, was infiltrated, funded, and steered, not by women, but by elite white male power structures. The CIA, Rockefeller Foundation, and other elite-backed organizations quietly supported and bankrolled feminist initiatives through groups like Ms. Magazine, co-founded by Gloria Steinem, Ford Foundation, Planned Parenthood under eugenicist roots, Population Council. Gloria Steinem herself was revealed to have ties to the CIA, confirmed by her own admissions. The CIA funded her to push liberal ideology abroad, including feminism, as a counter to communist influence. But that wasn't the full picture. The system didn't empower women to uplift society. It did it to control society. Rockefeller and other elites realized, if we get women into the workforce, we can 1. Tax the other half of the population. 2. Get children away from their mothers earlier and indoctrinate them sooner. 3. Weaken the family unit, especially in marginalized communities. This wasn't about equality. This was about access, surveillance, dependency, and control. While many black women were under the impression that they would benefit from aspects of feminism, the broader movement, especially its mainstream white-led expressions, carried hidden costs for black families, black unity, and the liberation struggle as a whole. Here's a layered, unapologetic breakdown of that truth. 1. Co-opting black pain. Feminism was never designed for black women. The feminist movement was largely born from the discontent of white middle-class women who felt oppressed within the patriarchy of white men. But black women were already working, raising children, and carrying communities, often without institutional support. Their oppression was never simply gendered. It was racial, economic, and colonial. Feminism didn't address that. When white feminists called for liberation from the home, black women were often already head of household due to economic and systemic displacement of black men. The sinister part: instead of amplifying black women's unique struggle, feminism folded them into a white agenda, silencing race while pretending sisterhood. 2. Divide and conquer. Feminism as a tool of disruption. The US government and dominant power structures saw the strength of the black family, particularly the unity of the black man and woman, as a threat. Feminism became a perfect ideological wedge, promoted individualism over collective survival, created suspicion and resentment between black men and women, recast traditional cultural dynamics as inherently oppressive. Result: black love was reframed as toxic. Masculinity was criminalized. Feminism, when filtered through white supremacy, taught black women to mistrust their natural allies. 3. Welfare feminism and the exile of the black man. In the 1960s and 70s, as feminism grew, so did the welfare state, which offered assistance to black women, but only under one condition: no man in the house. The system financially incentivized the removal or absence of black men, reinforcing dependence on the state, disempowerment of black fatherhood, a shift in family structure that broke from ancestral models of collective leadership. While this wasn't feminism alone, the movement provided the philosophical justification, independence, self-sufficiency, and liberation from men. Sinister reality: a state that once enslaved black people now paid them to live separated, isolated, and surveilled. 4. Black feminism versus white feminism, hijacked narrative. Black women like Audre Lorde, Bell Hooks, Angela Davis, and others tried to carve out a space for intersectional feminism, one that spoke to both racial and gender oppression. But their work was often overshadowed or diluted in mainstream feminist circles. When black women raised racial concerns, they were accused of dividing the movement. Even today, black feminist voices are often used as props for broader white feminist goals without addressing black suffering. Truth: white feminism needed black women's numbers, emotion, and credibility, but not their leadership, complexity, or pain. 5. The cultural fallout, broken trust, and fractured legacy. Feminism, as exported into the black community, created lasting consequences. Mistrust between black men and women. A loss of cultural memory about healthy male-female partnership rooted in ancient cosmologies. Glorification of independence over interdependence, damaging in a community already under siege. A warped view of masculinity as inherently violent, rather than wounded and systemically disarmed. It replaced healing and unification with blame and separation. 6. The ultimate weapon, ideological warfare. This is the deepest part. The feminist movement, as manipulated through white supremacy and state power, was part of a broader strategy to neutralize the black radical tradition, which had always depended on the unity, love, and divine balance between black men and women. Think of it this way: civil rights and black power were rising. The Black Panther Party depended on male-female collaboration. Revolutionary energy was thick. Answer: co-opt one half of the people with ideas of independence that ignore structural oppression and cultural truth. The result? Disarmed revolution. 7. What can be done? The answer isn't to reject feminism wholesale. The answer is to reclaim black unity and gender balance through a culturally rooted lens. Ancient traditions often recognize divine masculine and divine feminine as complementary, not competitive. The black woman is not subordinate, but she is also not alone. Healing will only happen when truth is spoken, not suppressed by borrowed ideologies. The truth is, feminism alone didn't destroy the black community, but it was weaponized as a tool in a larger system that thrives when the black man and woman are at war with each other. Healing requires us to unlearn imported ideologies and return to our own rhythm, where love, power, protection, and respect are shared energies, not opposing forces. How to successfully kill the Negro through their diet is not just about food. It's about the many calculated manipulations used to fracture, weaken, and erase the black community. One of the most sinister was the co-opting of the feminist movement, which was weaponized to drive a wedge between black men and women, dismantling the foundation of the black family. While black women have always fought for justice, the mainstream feminist agenda was never rooted in our liberation. Instead, it subtly shifted the struggle from collective black empowerment to individual assimilation, leaving our communities more vulnerable to state control, economic instability, and spiritual disconnection. Educate yourself and read this book today. Most importantly, share this book with any and everyone you love. Save your future generations from falling into the same old traps, because the game never changes, only the players. But the game is over once you gain the knowledge and make the conscious decision to stop playing. Order your copy of this must-read, eye-opening book today, available as an ebook or paperback on Amazon. Join 3,200,000 melanated people in this revolutionary movement of rediscovery and restoration of love and togetherness. If this hit your spirit, don't just scroll. Join the community by sharing your thoughts and ideas in the comments. Tap in, pass it on, and bring somebody with you.